Hello and welcome to day 25 of Healthy Core and Yoga Flow, where we do a few grounding and hugging in and healthy core exercises that will help us through the Yoga Flow section of this class and every class for this 30-day yoga challenge journey, however you like to use it. And today's peak pose is side plank or Vasisthasana. So it is a balancing pose, it is a hip opening pose, definitely shoulder opening, and certainly a whole lot of pulling everything into the midline so we can extend away from the midline while we stay extremely centered. So let's center together and then we'll start our journey for today. So let's take a comfortable seat on our yoga mat. Sitting nice and tall on our sit bones and finding a good even place, and maybe you're sitting on a pillow or on a blanket for a few moments, and it's always nice to have a blanket or a pillow or a block handy by that you might want to use for your practice today. Let's close our eyes and soften all of the outer layers, staying nice and bright in our inner body, setting an intention to loosen up and exhale all stagnant energy that does not longer serve us and invite higher vibrancy to all the layers, invite higher frequencies for us as we practice and turn and churn our energies and feel a little bit more open with each and every yoga practice together. Raising our vibrations for ourselves and for those around us. Let's take the palms together in front of the heart. Join our voices in one Om. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale, release the hands, open the eyes, and let's come to all fours to tabletop and start with our cat-cow to really turn the layers and expand into the back body. Tabletop, please. Spread the fingers nice and wide, tuck the toes under, and have knees and hips stacked and shoulders and wrists stacked. Arch the spine to the sky. And inhale, concave, come back to neutral and find a little extra bend, and then exhale, arch the spine up to the sky, and inhale, and exhale, press hands, knees and toes. Inhale, long spine, and exhale, pulling everything in towards the midline, expanding into the back body. And one more, inhale and exhale, arching the spine all the way up. And slowly coming back to neutral, and let's come onto our back, please. And from here, we're going to bring the knees into the chest and hug it all the way in. Grounding in through the core, grounding in through the tailbone, lower back, grounding the hips for a moment, and then holding your right knee in and extending the left leg. You can roll the shoulder blades off the floor, or you can keep the shoulder blades on the floor. And we'll come and do knee to chest and alternate for 20 and 19. 18, and we just keep sipping that core in towards the midline. Inhaling, exhaling for 14 more, and 13. And we'll just keep this going. 12 more. Inhale and exhale, moving the legs, hugging them in towards the chest. For 5 more.
for 4 more, and 3 more, and 2 more, and 1 more. Bring the knees into the chest. Take a little pause, and we'll just do a little re-evaluation and making sure our lower back is into the mat. Stretch the legs up to the sky, and we're going to drop the left leg, hold on to the right, and maybe rolling the shoulder blades off, maybe staying down. So see what works for you. And we're just going to switch and give a little pull on the leg up here as we are using our core every time the leg comes up, and we'll just come and meet each and every time. For 15 more, 14, 13, 12, 11, keep that lower back into the mat. Only drop the legs as far down as it feels comfortable. For 9 more, we'll just keep it going. 8 more, 7, 6 more, and 4 more. Keep expanding that back body in towards the yoga mat. 2 more, and 1 more. Bring the knees into the chest and hug it all the way in. Nice. Take your feet flat on the floor. We give the legs a little bit of a pause. Take a few breaths and then pull the lower back into the mat and just really hug the muscles in the front of the belly and the front of the spine all the way. Just wrap it in, and it's a nice massage for the organs as well, and a nice plugging into our core, to our center. Palms facing up. Roll the shoulder blades off of your yoga mat or whichever mat you have. Take your feet comfortably flat on the floor, knees up, and then touch your ankle, and we'll do side to side for 20, 19, 18, 17, using the core only, 15, 14, getting the side of the body, the obliques, 11, 10 more, and 8 more, and 6 more, 4 more. Really do that nice bend on the side and get in towards the side of the body. 2 more or so, and then 1 more, and bring it up and then all the way back down. Bring the knees into the chest, and then from here let's hug your let's extend your legs all the way out. Take the arms over the head. Same leg, same arm. So choose one side that works for you to start with, and we're going to touch the toes and the hand, toes and fingers. So you might be here with straight leg. You might bend your left leg so that you feel more plugged in with your lower back. We'll do 10 of these. So we have 5 more here. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and holding it all the way up, and lift and lift and lift and lift. For 5 more, 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, and 1 more, and take it back down. And second side. So we'll switch side and pull the lower belly in and connect into the core. Take your opposite side up and have a little meeting. And touch your hand, touch your toes if it's available. And we'll do this for 10. We'll have 6 more here. 5 more. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. And then from here, we'll lift it up and touch and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and bring it back down. Excellent. And then we'll have 1 more. to make it a good 5 so that we feel nicely plugged in as we start our yoga journey today. So we're going to lay onto the left side, and we did this a few times this week for our wide open hip opening poses. So take your left hand in your on the side of your head, support yourself, and take your right arm up and take your legs just slightly at a tiny bit of a pike, so you have a nice plugged in femurs into your hips. And then we're going to lift and lower the right leg, and just lift and lower it, and lift and lower it. Now this could, of course, you can have your hand behind your skull and lift and lower, or you can just make like little memories here, or big memories for the side of the waist. And we'll just keep this going for 10 more, and 9, and 8, 7. It's nice to just kind of hold it a little bit up there to make some good memories and imprint. And 6 more, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and bring it back down and switch. You might roll over on your belly, on your back, or however you want to switch sides. Come onto your right side, hand in the side of the head. Take your left arm up, take your legs a little bit at an angle so that you plug your femurs in today, really nice and plugged in. Left arm up, and then we'll open and lower and lift and touch the toes to the hand if it's available. Maybe we have the arm up, and maybe we lift and lower the leg. And we'll keep this going for 15 more, up and down. And I hope you feel a little bit of a nice like connection on the side of the body, obliques into the center and all the layers in between. 10 more, 9, 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1, and bring it back down. Take child's pose, big toes together, knees apart, stretching the arms forward, sitting nice and deep on towards your heels, plugging femurs in, expanding the back body, releasing into the lower back, opening the whole back side of the body, stretching from your hips to your shoulders to the wrists, out the fingers. And give yourself a few more breaths right here. And then we're going to come up and take a cross-legged seat, either sitting on your blanket or block, and maybe not a block, it might be a little bit too much for what we're going to do. So a blanket or a pillow would be great. Cross your leg comfortably and sweep your arms up towards the sky. I sure can feel that we did some side crunches the last few days. Take your left hand down and the right arm up. And just sink down into the sit bones. Take your arm over and sweep up to the second side. Right hand down, left arm up, maybe a slightly bit over, and then we'll do that again. We'll lift it up and over. We'll swing side to side with very grounded sit bones onto your mat. One more each side, make some nice big waves. And again. And bringing it all the way up. Excellent. We're going to take Vasisthasana, which is head to knee pose, hip opening. Put your right foot inside your left inner thigh and straight your left leg straight out, and your hips are facing forward. Take your arms up to the sky. Bring your ribs in, hinge and fold. Take your hands around your foot or bring in a strap, and inhale, long spine, and exhale, hinge and fold forward. Just getting our hips a nice little kind of preview of some hip opening, rotation in the hips, so they're opening in towards the lower back,
adductors as well. And just really digging into the layers and lifting any stagnation off, making sure we have nice clear pathways. And then gently bring it all the way back up and switch to the second side. Take your left leg in, put your foot inside your right adductor, sweep your arms up, bring your ribs in, take a nice big hug in with your belly, and then hinge and fold and come forward. Inhale, long spine, and exhale, fold, or sitting upright or using a strap, so whichever works for you. Do your best to pull your upper arm bones into the shoulder socket, so we have a nice plugged in upper body, elbows out to the side. Breathing, softening here, and gently bring it all the way back up. And from here, open your legs wide for Vasisthasana. We've been here a few times the last few days, so it should feel pretty familiar. It does not have to be wide angle. You can bring your legs together. Let's take a nice big inhale, arms up to the sky, sink your sit bones down, take your left hand to the floor and your right arm up. And just long right side of the waist. We'll just kind of repeat what we did with our legs crossed. Take your left arm up towards the sky and switch. And we'll take a couple of windmill side to side as we're sinking nice and deep into our seat and elongating from the lateral side of the hip to the armpit, to the wrist, to the fingertips, hips to shoulders, shoulders to wrists, and one more each side. Take it up and over, yes, and then gently bring it all the way back to the center. Bring our legs together and come up into downward facing dog, please. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pedaling in towards the heels, just walking your legs out a little bit. Claw the fingertips, lift your upper arm bones. Move about. Press your palms. Get some nice deep breaths. Make some nice moves through the vertebrae, through your hips, whichever we need to feel like we need to do before we step our feet over to the hands. Inhale, long spine. And exhale, fold. Hands to hips, elbows to sky, press the feet. Inhale, come all the way up to standing and release the hands. We're going to open the feet wide for feet wide apart pose, Prasarita Padottanasana. Take the arms out to the side to start with, and that's like a nice big star bright pose. Turn your toes slightly and lift the lower belly, lift your heart, your chest, your lungs, open the shoulders, and bring your hands to the hips and hinge and fold. Forward fold. Take the top of the head towards the floor. You can keep your hands on your hips and push your hips back and open a little bit more for the lower back. There should be some nice feeling into the hamstrings. Take a few breaths right here. And then gently come all the way back up to standing. Turn your heels in. Take your hands inside your knees. Come into power pose, power stand, goddess pose. However we'd like to think of it. It's pretty powerful. You gotta have some good balance on all four corners and feeling totally powered up through the feet, through the legs, knees, hips, and the whole core up through the spine. Take your right shoulder in towards the center and switch sides, left into the center and switch sides again. One more each side. And last one. And gently take it all the way back up, arms out to the side, right forearm to the right thigh, left arm up, square your thighs as best as you can. Take your arm over the ear, long side body, and switch second side. Right arm up, take it all the way up and over. Nice. And from here, come back to the center, take your arms out, and we'll do just a few pulses here to kind of really wake up the hips, the legs, and just really wake up any stagnation so that we can have a really clear line of our own vibration when we're done with this practice today. Take your right fingertips either to your thigh or down to the floor. Sweep the left arm up to the sky. And switch to the second side, staying nice and low, staying super plugged into the core. And exhale, hands down, turn your toes and extend your legs. Take the heel of the hands, align with the heel of the feet. Take the top of the head towards the floor. First, arch your spine to the sky. Take the top of the head down and stretch into the back of the legs. Take a nice couple of breaths right here. And gently extend the arms and come to downward facing dog, to the front of your mat. From here, we're gonna make our way over to plank pose, please. Shoulders and wrists are stacked. Turn your right palm slightly out. Stack either your feet one on top of the other or one in front of the other and see how that feels. Take your left arm up to the sky, claw your right fingertips, squeeze everything you have into the midline and switch to the second side. Turn your left palm slightly out, either feet one in front or on top, or certainly kickstand, or however you need to do. Drop your left knee down for more support. Take the gaze up towards the thumb, squeeze skin to muscle, muscle to bone, and exhale, release. Bring it all the way back to plank and come on to the belly for our first cobra. Inner shoulder to outer shoulder. Low cobra, high cobra, whichever works for you. Swinging a little bit side to side. And exhale, release. Push it back to child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. Sit nice and deep in towards the legs. And gently coming all the way up. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bicycle into your heels. And then anchor into where you have your down dog. Maybe it's on the toes with bent knees. Squeeze everything strongly together. Come up onto the toes, bend the knees, look between the hands, step or hop forward. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Hands to hips, elbows to sky. Root your feet, come up to standing, and release the hands all the way down. And we're gonna come into tree pose. Stand onto your left foot and take your right foot up into your tree pose. So that does not have to be by the inner thigh. It can be down by the ankle, it can be by the knee, it can be right to where you feel comfortable having it for your hip. Pull everything into the midline and stay nice and grounded. Hands to the heart. Maybe we'll take the arms up and extend it all the way up as we root the tailbone down even more. And slowly take the hands back down to the center. Take your knee into the chest and extend it back down. Second side, find all four corners and your total grounding cord through the right side. Take your left leg into tree pose, Vrikshasana. Sometimes it gets a little windy. Take your palms together in front of the heart. You can have your left foot down, you can have it up. Make sure to have a nice slight micro bend into your balancing leg. Take your arms up towards the sky. Full transformation from your standing foot through all layers up through the fingertips. Like a nice flush from heart of earth to heart of source. And exhale, release, hands to the heart. And from here, take your knee in towards the chest and release it all the way down for Tadasana. Take a bit of pause right here and then step your feet wide apart, please. You can take your hands to the hips and enjoy a nice wide stand. Take your right heel in and find Trikonasana stance with your legs, with the front heel right into the middle of your left arch. Take your arms out to the sky and anterior tilt your hips, and from there take yourself into Trikonasana with your hand either somewhere underneath your knee or on a block. If you are able to, take your peace fingers around the right big toe and take the left arm up to the sky. Trikonasana. So your hips are slightly anterior tilting, and then at the same time the tailbone is going against that, and that lifts the lower belly and it just really brings us straight into the center. So it's a hugging in, it's an extending out all at the same time. Full pulsation. Gaze up to your thumb. Take the gaze down, bend your front knee, release your hand from your thumb, come back up to standing tall Trikonasana to your second side. Turn your left toes out and anterior. Tilt your hips, which sometimes can, if you just pull the lower belly in, it really helps with that. Take your left hand somewhere below the knee, maybe to the ankle, maybe to a block, maybe peace fingers around your left big toe. Take your right arm up to the sky, take the gaze up. Circulating energy from all parts of the body, bottom of the feet, palm of the hands, skin to organs, all the way, pulsating. Take the gaze down to your floor and bend your front knee and then bring it all the way up to standing. Excellent. Hands to the hips. Bend your knees and come all the way back to the center, hands to side. Let's come to the front of your mat and release the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. And exhale, hinge and fold. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, long spine. And exhale, step back to plank pose, please. Hold your plank pose for a moment. And from here, we'll see how it feels to come into plank pose on the side with tree pose variant. So let's stack the feet to start with and pull everything into the midline. Take your left foot to your right adductors. Pull the lower belly in and up and find your midline. The gaze can be down. The gaze can come up for balancing tree pose in our side plank. And then take the gaze down and your hand down and push back to downward facing dog to switch to the second side. Come to plank pose. So this would be where we can hang out and build some strength and midline hold. Or you can turn on to your left side and stack your feet. Maybe we stay here. Maybe we take the right foot to your left adductors and we keep holding everything in towards the midline and sweeping the right arm maybe up to the sky. And there's a lot of lower belly holding in and up straight into the core and just really stabilizing the whole center line in front of the spine. Gaze up to the thumb. And exhale, release hand down, release your leg, push back to child's pose and stretch your arms forward. Let your hips sink down to the heels. We'll take a nice breath right here. And then come over onto your left side, please. And we can be onto our hand. We're here a few times this week as well, the last few days, and I'm hoping it's gonna feel really like home today. So take your peace fingers. We'll go with the peace fingers today to the big toe on your right side, and so it's like a half happy baby variant. And we pull the right knee back, and we at the same time stabilize the core and hold the lower belly in to feel nice and plugged in. Spread the toes on your right foot and press your root of your right big toe up to the sky and come into Anantasana, the couch pose, where we just get to kind of lay on the side and stretch our legs. Not as easy as it looks. You could take your left hand down and you can put your ear onto your arm and then just really get your tailbone to stride down towards the left heel. One more breath here. And then exhale, release hand and foot and switch to the second side. Come onto your right forearm, hand in head for comfort, and take your left peace fingers around your left big toe, spread your toes, Square your foot off, bring your left knee towards your left shoulder, behind your arm, spread all of your 10 toes, and then push your left foot up towards the sky for Anantasana or couch pose, and extend a really nice opening for the adductors, and like a remembrance for where we're going to our side plank with our leg perhaps up in towards the air, and then gently extend it all the way back down and come into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Grounding into down dog, hands and feet, feet and hands. Couple of nice breaths right here, and then we're going to come all the way down onto our knees and hands. You are of course always welcome to take an up dog and a down dog in between, but today we're just kind of flowing in between the poses and not so much the linking pose. Take your left toes out to the side and your right out to the side. Take your right arm out. So we have the left foot kickstanding behind us, and here we are in a side plank. And we'll take the same pose with your big toe and peace fingers and taking your leg forward, and then from there maybe lifting your leg up to the sky, taking the gaze up towards the sky over the big toe, spread the toes, pull the lower belly in, summon all the energy you have into the midline, and then exhale, release hand and foot, bring it all the way back down and come to tabletop. Give yourself a couple of cat-cows in between. We'll take 3 cat-cows before we come over towards the second side. And gently coming up onto your tabletop on your right side, where you kickstand your right toes out to the side, lower leg, left leg extends, and here we are in side plank supported style. And you can stay right here, pull the upper arm bones in, pull the lower belly in, take your peace fingers around your left big toe. Anterior tilt your hips and really plug your femur, your left femur in, and the right for optimal health for that lower back. Stabilize your lower belly and lift your left leg up to the sky. And lift your gaze up and smile. And it's a nice smile from shoulder to shoulder. And exhale, release the hand and the foot, and come to downward facing dog, please. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Down dog. Breathing through all parts of the body. Trikonasana, right foot forward. Triangle pose. Sweep that left arm up to the sky. And then take your left hand to the hip. Take the gaze down to the second toe, bend your front leg, and we'll step up into Ardha Chandrasana. We were here earlier this last few days with our half moon balancing pose. The gaze can be down. Anterior tilt your hips and lift your left arm up, spread all of your toes. Take the gaze up towards the thumb. And then from here, take the gaze back down and bend your front knee and sink it back to your Trikonasana. And enjoy a nice big adductor elongation, clearing and cleaning. Gaze down, step it back, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then from here, step your left foot between your hands and step it into Trikonasana with your right arm down. Left arm is down and the right arm is up. We're on the left side. So let's take the gaze up towards the thumb. Give yourself a few breaths right here. Take your hand to your hip. Gaze down in front of your second toe. Bend your front knee. Step it up into Ardha Chandrasana and keep your standing hip and ankles stacked above and below each other. Anterior tilt your hip. Suck your lower belly in, take your right arm up to the sky, stay fully plugged in, and extend your gaze up towards the sky, up towards your thumb. Find some spot that's not moving. Another breath right here. And then exhale, hand to hip, gaze down, step it back, Trikonasana.
Sweeping the right arm all the way up, and then hand down and gaze down. Downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come forward to plank. Lower all the way to the floor. Inhale to cobra. Inner shoulder to outer shoulder. And exhale, release. Downward facing dog, please. Come up into a tiger dog. So walk your feet a little bit forward. Bend your knees. Widen your feet. And bring your femurs, plug them all the way in. Lift your lower back, your sacrum, and even out the hips. Even out the lower back. And gently come into your downward facing dog. And then from here, we're going to come over to plank and come over to our Vasisthasana full form if we are taking that. So we have a couple of options. You can come down to your knees for a moment. We have an option of taking the kickstanding the leg, bringing one leg up. We can take tree pose, or we can lift one leg up like an X. You can do all kinds of fun things, and they all lead to Vasisthasana. So pick something that works for you, okay? And we'll just have a little fun with it. So let's claw the fingertips, downward facing dog. Plug everything in, skin to muscle, muscle to bone, plank pose. Turn your left palm slightly out so your middle finger is facing forward. Stack your feet one on top of the other. Bend your knees. Take your right arm up. So I like this because it really plugs in the hips. Take your right peace fingers around your right big toe and then plug your knee in towards your shoulder. Lift your leg up towards the sky and then take your gaze all the way up towards the ceiling or wherever you might be. A few more breaths right here, making some good memories for the body, raising vibrations, whichever variant that you have. And then exhale, release your hand and your foot and step it back to downward facing dog. Come back up on your toes, bend your knees, plug femurs into this nice new place that you just created, and then down dog and come to plank, and then we're going to come over onto the right side, plank, side plank onto the right side, bend your knees, take your left arm up. We're bending the knees just to pull the femurs into the hips, and it's just so much easier for the rotation of your left hip. Take your peace fingers around your left big toe, or make a kickstand, or make an X or something fun that makes your day. And then from there, take your left leg up to the sky for Vasisthasana. Maybe take the gaze up, spread your toes on the lifted leg. Skin to muscle, muscle to bone. Soar in your pose. Pulsate, layers, in and out. Breathing, smiling. And exhaling, releasing, and making it all the way back to down dog. And to child's pose, big toes together, knees apart. I hope you had fun with that and reached a version that really worked well for you. It really is about hugging everything into our magical midline, where everything, all the wisdom, all the magnetism, all the desires, and our connection to source is being held. So we'll just hug it and hug it and hug it and just clean the layers, and we'll just keep repeating and repeating and repeating until we have found a form that feels like it's satisfying all of the layers of our body. And then come to a seat, please. We're gonna roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. So heels down, you can widen your feet and take the arms forward, and then we roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Rolling and rolling and rolling and coming all the way down onto the mat. Bring your feet wide as your mat. Take your arms out to the side. Right knee in the center, left knee to the side, and left to the center, right to the side. And we'll just take it side to side. Side to side, massaging into the lower back. And a few more times. And then from here, hug your knees into the chest and just plug everything back into the midline. You can wrap your arms around your knees. You can have your hands around the knees. And just kind of squeezing into the center line and realigning our body and our muscles, our ligaments, our bones, our tendons into a new high vibrational place to move from. That's free from any clutter. Couple more breaths right here. And then gently release the hands to the sides. Take your legs up towards the sky. And we can stay right here with the legs here, or we can sit in seated forward fold, or if you are up for it, we are going to close with the legs over the head for an upward facing forward fold, where we take our peace fingers again around the big toes and just kind of closing up the layers. And gently rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae as we hold on to the toes, as we are finding each and every vertebrae, giving them a nice massage. And then gently from there, bending your knees and extending the legs out to the side and coming into Shavasana and pressing your head, adjusting your shoulder blades and enjoying taking your Shavasana from here. You are, of course, always welcome to sit up with me, but I certainly do think and encourage this Shavasana after each and every practice. You have a little sound bites from high winds. We have a big thunderstorm brewing outside, coming straight in through the windows. So that's always exciting. Sit comfortably or lay comfortably. Finding some new layers, updating all the reference points. Wrapping up our 25th day of Healthy Core and Yoga Flow. And I hope that when you lay down or sit after each and every practice, that you are feeling a new vibrancy, a new way of receiving information, thoughts, ideas, and just feeling vibrant in our bodies and keeping that going and just like bringing it into the midline and just feeling totally connected to our magical source that's meant just for us. And of course, bringing it out to others anytime we can to brighten and raise their vibrations as well. So let's take our palms together in front of the heart. Sit nice and tall. Or put your hands on your heart and your belly if you are still laying down. We'll take an Om together. Take a nice big inhale. And thank you so much for joining me for this journey. I love it and I hope you do too, and I look forward to see you tomorrow, day 26, and we'll have some fun and turn and churn our center and raise our vibrations even to a whole different level than we did today. There's layers and layers and layers and layers. So thank you so much. Namaste.